Zaxby's Caribbean Jerk Chicken is just like a vacation in the tropics. Only without the sunburn. Or the dive-bombing seagulls. Or all of that pesky sand.
How'd it get in there?
Well, at least it tastes like the tropics. Enjoy our famous chicken tossed in a tropical blend of spicy habanero, fruity mango, and exotic island spices. The Caribbean Jerk boneless wings in the new filet sandwich meal. 2 more reasons you'll get a kick out of Zaxby's.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up War Chant, presented by Zaxby's.
Now here's WarChant.com's Azan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What up, everybody? Welcome into Wake Up War Chant. This is really weird. I know I just threw you for a loop. You don't know what's going on.
Strange.
We're doing a YouTube video. We're also using this audio as first half of the podcast that's going to be rolling out there for you on Thursday. I'm Azan Hajavandi. He is Corey Clark. We work for WarChant.com. Use the promo code WarChant30. Gets you 30 free days of access to the ultimate Seminole sports source. We are at the Civic Center where Florida State just won a basketball game a few hours ago.
This is how we normally record our podcast, too. We stare into a camera at the Civic Center.
But if you attend a Florida State game, whether it's baseball, women's basketball, football, they do a little trivia stuff in between the timeouts. And they're like, hey, welcome into the trivia. I'm Bob here with Sue Ann.
Yeah.
And what was the score of the 1996 Florida State-Florida game? And, anyhow, it's being sponsored by somebody.
24-21.
Yeah,
Florida State.
So they're doing
the first
it on
one,
the
second one, Florida won in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah. They're doing it on the floor, so we're in this
It's really odd
area.
that they're doing it on the floor after the game.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, but that's fine. Whatever.
Anyhow, so this is a podcast, but it's also a video you're watching on YouTube. We don't have a lot of highlights. We don't have any highlights because we're not allowed to show you that sort of stuff. But 54-50 was the win. I showed up at the last 2 minutes of the game because that's the way I roll.
Right. You saw everything you needed to see.
I think so, pretty much. Ugly game, but that's kind of what you're expecting. But for Florida State to win, it's January, but it's still, I feel it's a crucial win just to kind of, Leonard talks about stacking wins.
You're right. Winning
in this sort of fashion, I think, is beneficial for what lays ahead.
Yeah, again, we've talked about it before, but when you don't play your best and you still find a way to win, that's something. That tells you what kind of team you have, what kind of team you potentially have. And they did not play their best. Some of that's Virginia, man. They do that to everyone. But Florida State missed like 8 layups. Like Trent Forrest made 1 shot. And for them to still win the game, man, that says, I think MJ made 2 shots. So your 2 starting guards, the 2 veteran guards, I should say, Vassell's obviously Vassell, but they combined to make 3 baskets and have more turnovers than field goals, and you still win the game. It's a testament, man, to this team. They did not even play all that well defensively. They gave up a bunch of layups. They gave up 12 or 13 layups, but they did a good job contesting threes, which Virginia doesn't shoot well anyway, and they forced a lot of turnovers themselves. They turned the ball over too much, Florida State did, but they forced a lot themselves. And yeah, they just had a couple kids make huge shots, starting with Anthony Polite, and then Vassell basically closed it out with his corner 3.
By the way, Mike Myrick, who's a YouTube listener watcher, says that the Caribbean jerk sandwich at Zaxby's is off the chain.
Great.
Just want to kind of get that out of the way. Polite 4 of 4 from distance on the night, which was a welcome shot in the arm. Devin Vassell, I think, had a game-high 18 points, 7 of 15, I think. Trent, I feel like people think I might not like Trent because I always come back and maybe kind of poke at his game, but it just, man, he can't do it offensively some nights, but it doesn't matter because it seems like when it matters the most, he'll figure out a way to help will this team to a big-time win, and did it with defense on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and Leonard talked about that. And not just defense, he also had 7 rebounds and 7 assists. So he was the guy that was finding open threes and finding guys for baskets. And he just, look, he made 1 basket, and he did not play well. He had 5 turnovers offensively, did not play well. But at the end of the game, one and one there at the end. But that, just went and out. It wasn't like he bricked it. It was just a tough.
Did you see his reaction when he missed it?
He was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe it because it felt good. It looked good. He had just made 2 before that to give him the lead. But he wants to be in that spot. So I'm sure he was really just, not devastated, but surprised that it didn't go in. But yeah, so with someone like Trent, man, he makes an impact on so many different ways. So they're down by 3. I think there's a minute and a half left, a minute 40 left. They're down by 3. Virginia has the ball. Their best player, who's 6'8", underneath the basket, does a pump fake, and it looks like he's about to lay it up again to go up 5, and Trent blocks him from behind. And then 10, 15 seconds later, Polite hits the game-tying 3. And then on the very next possession, Trent forces a 10-second call because of his defense. The guy just finds ways to win. he will finish his career almost certainly as the all-time winningest player in Florida State history, besting Terrence Mann by probably a couple of wins. And those two guys have similar type games, man. I mean, I think Terrence Mann's probably a bit better scorer because he gets more points around the basket on tip-ins and dunks and whatever. But they both have could impact games in similar ways where they don't have to knock down threes, they don't have to score 14 points in a row to have an impact on a game and leave an imprint. And Trent Forrest left an imprint in those final 2 minutes.
Right. Great player he is, but man, Devin Vassell is just blossoming right before our very eyes, and it's something special too. It feels like. Yeah,
he's something, man. And again, credit to Leonard and credit to the staff for finding him. He was not a high recruit. He was, I think, when they offered him, he might have been 6'3". Well, now he's close to 6'7", and is just an athlete and a lengthy kid, and is a problem. A very good shooter. Just again, like Trent, makes an impact different ways too. I think he had 5 or 6 rebounds, had 2 or 3 steals. That's just what he does. And that's a huge three at the end of the game. Huge three. I mean, that's just, and then he made those 2 free throws to ice it. I don't know that he's been in a situation like that before, honestly, where he's up by 2 with 5 seconds left, 1-and-1 in that situation. He iced it. He made both free throws. So that's the guy, I think, as we move along here and they're in similar situations, it'll be MJ, it'll be him, it'll be Trent you're trying to get the ball to. And I guess Anthony Polite, because that dude was as clutch could be on Wednesday night.
Is it hokey? Like, am I overstating it when talking about, like, winning in this sort of fashion is important for getting you kind of battle-tested for what lies ahead in March? I mean, it was an ugly game, and there was moments where they could have lost that game, but they figured out a way to win it.
Yeah, and like Leonard said, he's like, people will say it wasn't pretty, but it was beautiful to me. And again, I think there's something to that. It's easy to win when you're playing well, and it's easy to win when you're playing a team that isn't like a vice grip. I mean, it's annoying to play those guys. You think it's annoying to watch it. Imagine having to play against it. It's just awful. And so for them to be able to find a way to win that game after finding ways to, beat Clemson and beat Georgia Tech and win at Louisville in different styles, yeah, I think it gives you a good feeling maybe going forward that, okay, they can play a bunch of different types of styles and still find a way. But they got to clean up the turnovers. I mean, that was a lot of them were unforced, and you can't have that moving forward. And I don't know how much it really plays into March. Like, it's such a weird one-off scenario, the NCAA tournament. A team gets hot from 3. It didn't matter that you played Virginia 54-50 in January. But I think it does give them confidence that, even when they don't play their best, they can find a way to win, and they can find a way to win from different people. Nobody expected Anthony Polite to score 14 points. He was the second leading scorer in the game, I think, certainly second leading scorer for Florida State. But with MJ having a bad night, with Trent having a bad night, Patrick Williams playing 9 seconds in the first half because of foul trouble. Anthony Polite scores 11 in the first half to give them a lead, and then hits the big 3 to tie it. I mean, that's what Florida State is, man. It's a bunch of parts.
I just think, you turn the ball over on a night like this, you're just more wise to not do it, when you're in another crucial moment that lies ahead. And I mean, the last thing for me is just, and again, it kind of sounds hokey, but man, if you're a Florida State fan and you were here, pat yourself on the back. That was, I mean, I know you're locked into it, you're working, you're at the laptop. I was kind of just hanging out in the concourse, but this place got so loud at the absolute appropriate time, and it shook Virginia. They felt it, and
it absolutely did.
Incredible environment that the fans put on.
And it's weird too, because you don't think of this place as like a house of horrors or the pit or anything like that. Well, they're 58-3 in their last 61 home games.
Get some.
Now, all of them haven't been those types of atmospheres, but there've been a lot of them. I think back to Virginia Tech last year where they were down big at the half and came back. And when this place is into it and loud, I'm telling you, I've been to every venue in the ACC. It's as loud as any place. It really is. It's as loud as Cameron. Cameron just feels different because the students are right there and they're being goofy. But it doesn't get any louder in Cameron than it does here for a moment like Vassell's 3. I mean, that was just it. And the thing with the Vassell 3 was everybody saw him open. So like the Polite 3 was almost like everybody cheered, but it was like a surprise cheer. Like, wow, he's going to take that? Oh, it went in? Oh, we're tied? Yeah. That game, that shot, everybody's like, oh, we're about to win the game if he knocks this down. And that place exploded. And it can be it's a really tough place to play, man, when the crowd is into the game, and they were into it tonight. And the students, man, the students show up. The students showed up
early.
And I think their next home game is next Saturday night against Notre Dame at 8 o'clock. And I got to imagine before they hit the Strip or before they go to College Town, they're going to go, well, nobody can hear us on the podcast doing that. But folks, they can see it. Yeah, go to YouTube and watch that.
Dance.
And I think this place can be electric depending on the right matchup and how the team is playing. And it was really, really loud tonight.
All right. That's a wrap on the video part of this. He's Corey, I'm Aslan. The second part of the podcast, though, it's coming up right after this.
You're listening to Wake Up War Chant, all Noles, every day. Now back to Corey and Aslan.
All right, we're back. Back to the future, but back to the past. Anyhow, hopefully this won't be too much of like a weird disconnect in terms of our emotional excitement after we cover the basketball game, and then we're back at a previously taped segment. Anyhow, whatever.
Right. Are we live? Are you talking right now? Is this happening?
J.I.I. Knowles.
You didn't even introduce the show. You didn't say who was here, what office we're in.
Well, because we're going to do that for the basketball game.
Oh, I see. So this is the second segment.
Well, this was my debate I had. We should probably put basketball at the end in terms of fan interest or whatever.
Sure.
But it's almost disrespectful to put a top 10 team playing defending national champs 47 minutes into the show.
Sure. All right. Okay. I got you.
So we started with it.
Okay. You should have warned me.
Jeremy from Miami. What about Coach Norvell so far has pleasantly surprised you the most? As you think about that, he also says, thanks for the fantastic content you two provide. Hopefully we can get another wake-up or just a War Chant meetup event prior to the spring game. Everyone, you know the drill. Go ahead, rate, review, Wake Up War Chant, 5 stars. Don't forget to support your local Zaxby's. Go Noles. Go Wake Up War Chant.
There you go. Well said.
Thanks,
well typed out. What's pleasantly surprised me?
He seems like a real dude to me. I mean, I think so many coaches put on happy faces and they want to get along with the people that are covering them because they kind of realize, you know, we maybe control narratives and things of that nature. He does seem to me to be a guy that like legitimately wants to work with the media, like give us access so that we can tell cool stories about his team, because there is a little bit of a benefit. Obviously, he wants to showcase what he's doing, but he does seem to me somebody that's probably I don't think he's too high in the ivory tower compared to other head coaches in the industry that have really good jobs.
Yeah, no, I see that. I don't know if I'm surprised by that. I guess I was, just because it's 2020 and college football is what it is. I guess I would say what appears to be his media guidelines and access rules has been a pleasant surprise. That you know, at least some of the practices will be open, and at least long portions of it would appear, and just that he understands the role of the media in communicating with fans. I think that's something that's been so lost because of Saban. Really, I think Saban changed the whole game when it comes to that. Because, when you're at LSU and Alabama, you can shut everything down. You're still going to put 80,000 people in the seats. Well, man, look at Florida State's attendance the last few years. Look around the country. You need to figure out a way to connect with fans to get them to come watch these players and watch your team and not just sit in their couches. You got to find a way to make money, and giving them less access to your players is a really dumb move in the long term. And it just sucks. It sucks for fans that the Kirby Smarts of the world, he's okay with it, but he follows the Saban principle. So does Jimbo. And it's like, man, it's football. It's not nuclear. It's not nuclear fission. We're not giving away secrets to countries that mean us harm. Did I just kick our? Are we still on the air? Are we still on the air? Did I just kick that? So the fact that he seems to understand that, and I don't know if he got that from Todd Graham. I don't know if he got that from Malzahn at Tulsa. I mean, when you're at a place like Tulsa, and Memphis for that matter, you need all the coverage you can get. It just makes sense. And so hopefully he'll carry that same mindset to Florida State. It sure sounds like that's his intention. But again, I just think it's win-win for everyone. If you trust the people you're recruiting, and if you trust the people you've hired, let them talk to the fans. Let them talk to the fans. Let me and you interview Dillingham for 45 minutes, just about his life, or Atkins. Or Rushing, any of them. Rushing played with Peyton Manning and won a Super Bowl. How cool would it be to talk with him for 40 minutes? And the fans would love it. They would eat it up. Like one of the most compliment. Yeah, they right there. One of the shows that we got a lot of compliments on, and I know it's not a basketball centric show, but was I think you had just started 2 years ago in Was it Nashville?
Yeah.
And I sat down with Stan Jones for like 25 or 30 minutes.
Yeah. It's really good.
But you know what I mean? Because you get insight or meet when we sit down with Mike Martin Jr. Those are the people want to hear that stuff. They don't want just 4-minute press conferences. They want to get to know the people that are coaching the team and the people that are playing for the team. And so, yeah, that's good. And I should say this because I did kind of rip Jimbo just a second ago. I did used to have a podcast where I would interview some current players.
Tuesdays with Corey.
And I think that's a reference that's lost on today's, youth. But there was a famous book called Tuesdays with Maury that was like a worldwide best-selling phenomenon. Mitch Albom, the guy from the Detroit Free Press, wrote it. But anyway, I think it might even become a movie. But they let me, like, I got Dalvin for 20 minutes by myself, or 25 minutes, whatever it was. And they would let me do stuff like that because I'd been doing it for 10 years. Jimbo trusted me. He knew I wasn't trying to, and he knew I liked Dalvin. I wasn't going to try to burn Dalvin, not literally or figuratively. So anyway, I just that's been a pleasant surprise, and I know people listen to this now, and I'm always going to say it. I'm always going to qualify it. I'm sure there's some eye rolls. Let's see. Wait to see how it manifests itself. It might be a brand new world opened up for you guys as fans, where you really get to, number one, you get to talk to kids that are redshirting. You get to hear from kids that are freshmen. You get to hear from every coach after every game, perhaps. It's really refreshing, and I hope it lasts.
Wish we could have given you a football answer, but we haven't seen them do anything football related.
Nothing at all. So I can't do it. Yeah, it's hard to do that.
Knowles MG4. Wake up! So with all this greatest of all time talk in the last 150 years, do you all feel FSU is getting hosed in almost every category? Best teams of all time is ranked number 4 behind a one-loss Gator team, and not one mention of the 14 consecutive 10-win seasons and finishing in the top 5 in 14 consecutive seasons. In those 14 consecutive seasons. People say there isn't a biased opinion about us, but numbers don't lie, and a lot of outlets sure do. As always, I truly appreciate the Wake Up War Chant podcast. It is really something special. Have a great rest of your week, gents.
Thank you. Who ranked Florida State behind? Which Florida State team and what list is he talking about?
I guess the ESPN 150 stuff.
They did the top teams too?
I guess so, yeah. I'm sure they did. They did they did best position players.
So they had Florida State at number 4 of all time? Because that seems
I'll take that.
Really good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Especially from you. You were like, nobody was even talking. I wonder if it's the 99 team, though, that they had 4 all time.
But he says they're number 4 behind a one-loss Gator team. That's kind of lousy.
So I assume that's the 08 team when Tebow. Yeah, man. I think if you lose a game, you're off the list. You don't get to be considered one of the best of all time. How can you be considered one of the best of all time when you lost the game? You know what great teams do is they win games when they don't play well. See Florida State in the Rose Bowl against Auburn. So Florida had a bad day. I know they were an incredibly talented team and very, very good. And Tebow was a great college quarterback, but that defense was insane. But they had a bad day and lost Ole Miss at home. Sorry, man. That nullifies you.
See, I don't know what we're all – because ESPN.com has their 150 greatest teams in college football's 150-year history published September 10th, 2019 as part of ESPN's year-long initiative marking the 150-year blah, 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 blah. Number 1 is 71 Nebraska. The highest rated, Clemson last year, 2018, is number 5. 2001 Miami is 7.
That's ridiculous.
The highest rated Florida State team is 99 at 12, and they're ahead of there's no Gator team ranked with one loss ahead of them. Maybe the 2013 team, there's somebody ranked ahead of that team. I'll keep scrolling. Go ahead.
Probably. Maybe that's what he's saying is that the 2008 Florida team was ranked ahead of the 13 Florida State team. Yeah, you got to take them for what they are. I'll tweet about them occasionally just to poke fun at them and kind of pander to my followers. But it's an impossible task. But if I was doing a list like that, I would talk to people like me just for Florida State stuff and say, hey, which was the best Florida State team of all time? Because I watched them all, and the 2013 team beats the 99 team. Sorry, folks.
29th. They're the 29th is the Florida State. I still haven't seen a Gator team on this list. I'm scrolling.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then there you go.
They're ahead of 80 Georgia and 2002 Ohio. 2002 Ohio State, 34th. Come on, man.
Well, they did have some talent on that team now. They beat that Miami team.
On a lousy play.
I think my argument has always been the best. The 2001 Miami team, there'll never be anything like that again. There just won't be. They dominated almost everyone. I think they had 15 first-round picks on that team, which is insanity. Their running backs were like Frank Gore, McGahee, There was another one in there that was an all-pro.
Clinton Portis.
I mean, come on, man. I think Frank Gore was third or fourth string, and he's third all-time in rushing yards in NFL history.
He had really bad knees. I'm like, he's never going to make it in the NFL.
Yeah, Andre Johnson. The one weakness Miami had, in my opinion, if we're not going to sit here and debate the all-time best teams, was Dorsey. I don't think Dorsey wasn't anything special. But other than that 01 team was just a juggernaut. That was incredible.
He was a really good college quarterback.
Yeah, he was, but who wouldn't have been behind that line and with those guys?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Was he any better than Thad Busby? You know? He wasn't better than Winky for sure, but was he better than Thad Busby? Ponder? Was he better than Christian Ponder? No.
Dude, I'm still going on this list.
There's got to be a Florida team on there.
2008 Florida's 67th.
Okay. All right.
I mean, they're like 40 spots behind 2013.
Yeah, so they did that. They
50-something
so
spots behind.
I mean, but anyway, I think if they'd have I would put the 2013 team higher than the 99 team. That 99 team struggled against Clemson, struggled at Florida, struggled to beat like Virginia. They were in a close game in that game in the third or fourth quarter. They were 7-7 almost at halftime against Louisiana Tech. Obviously, it was a great team, an all-time team, but they weren't as dominant as the 2013 Florida State team. They might have had as much talent. You know, they had Corey Simon and Tommy Polley and Brian Allen. I mean, yeah, they were loaded. So that's hard to decide. But the biggest problem I have with those lists is you want to get in the history of college football, but you can't sit here and tell me that Archie Griffin is better than Reggie Bush. You know what I mean? Or Warwick Dunn. You just can't. You know how many touchdowns Archie Griffin scored the second year he won the Heisman?
2.
4.
4.
We had a Heisman Trophy winner that scored 4 touchdowns. So, anyway.
Well, I mean, he ran for a whole bunch of yards.
But also,
somebody vultured him on
Peter Warwick is not on that list, which is a joke. Marvin Jones is not on that list, which is a Marvin Jones finished 4th in the Heisman Trophy balloting as an inside linebacker. He was the best player in college football on the defensive side for 2 years in a row, and he's not one of the top 150 players. Peter Warwick was the best player in college football 2 years in a row, 98 and 99. And played in 2 national championships and won 1 and scored 3 touchdowns in that game, and he's not one of the top 150. It's. I mean, I know you gotta pay homage to the history of the sport, but come on with that, man. How is Peter Warwick not on that list? Johnny Rodgers is. They're the same type of player. Peter Warwick was just 25 years more evolved. Like, you know what I mean? It was a different sport. So anyway, those things are dumb. And Deion being 26 was a joke too. Deion should have been top 10.
Nola Hollick, there was a tweet stating Norvell held a team session during the championship game. Any truth to this? I saw somebody tweet that at me. I don't know. I'll see if we can reach out to the people in the office and see what they know on that. I don't think so. I mean, I think they're training during the day already. I mean, they lift, during the morning. That's why.
I don't know, man. If I was a coach, that might be that's a good idea, in my opinion.
The rumor on Twitter or whatever, and I'm not trying to say rumor, but what was put on Twitter was that apparently instead of he made the team work out during the national title game because to set a message, you can be better than you are. So
I thought it meant like they were watching the game together.
No.
Oh, I see.
Supposedly he worked them out.
Oh, okay.
During the national championship game as kind of like, hey,
Right. It probably wasn't a 4.5-hour workout though, so I bet they caught some of the game since that game took forever.
BJAD68, explain what a preferred walk-on is. Just ask Ira. Well, Ira's not here.
We know that one. It's just you like a guy, you think he has a chance to maybe develop into something, but you don't have a spot for him. You don't feel comfortable offering him a scholarship, but you will give him a preferred walk-on spot. Like, he walks on knowing he's a part of the team. He's not just a walk-on where it's like, hey, winter tryouts. He just shows up in August like, hey, I got my pads. Can you – that he's coming. You've communicated with him. You've got things kind of squared away where he's a part of the team. But he's not on scholarship. And maybe if he's good enough, you put him on scholarship.
I think sometimes they get maybe a minor privilege. They can eat at the table. I don't know if I don't know if it's covered, but they're like that's because that's a scholarship sort of thing. But yeah, to your point, it's just they see something in you, but they can't offer you full scholarship, and you kind of it's kind of like Deontay Sheffield sort of a thing. A little bit. Say, hey, if someone opens up, you're going to be one of the top, one of the guys that we're.
Or like Nolan McDonald. when he was the quarterback. It's like, okay, we'll have it. You can definitely practice with us. You'll be on the team, but we're not committing scholarship money to you right now.
Ultimately, man, it's a social media thing where these, I don't want to be that guy, where these kids want to tweet out that they're going, hey, every kid likes to tweet out this, so thankful for my 37th scholarship offer. Thank you, Nebraska. Husker up. And it's like, you're not going to go to Nebraska. But it's like the kids who aren't getting scholarships also like tweeting, so thankful for the PWO offer to, Georgia Tech.
Oh, do they do that?
It's like, what the PWO? And it's like preferred. Yeah, so it's, and I think it also, it gives the kids, it's like not everybody gets a trophy, but everybody kind of gets a trophy.
Did I ever tell you that story of my buddy who's on Twitter? He, I guess he follows War Chant, and we'll retweet like kids that say, I got my offer from Florida State.
Do.
We a lot of them. And one kid was like, just received my 9th offer from Florida State University. And my buddy is like, why does Florida State have to offer him 9 times? I'm like, nobody. It's just the one. He's had 8 other schools offer him, and then Florida State became the 9th. He's like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
D. Wolf 1. Wake up, gents. As I always tell you, love the show. A lot of times in the coaching profession, there is chatter from fans, media, etc. about, quote, the game passing a coach by. To the contrary, Coach Ham seems to be the exact opposite. He seems so comfortable with his own style approach, his relationship with his assistant coaches and players, and immensely comfortable with his refined formula for winning. Can you guys draw a parallel to another coach having this much additional success so late in his coaching career, and one that seems so at ease with all around him? As my friend said, Coach Ham ages like a fine wine. Thank you for answering.
He does. Off the top of my head, I'm sure there are examples of it. Definitely not. The Pete Carroll doesn't work. Pete Carroll wasn't a great NFL head coach the first time around.
No.
Well, now he is, but I think those were circumstances. It wasn't at the same place. It's really, we've said this before, and we have no idea how the Virginia game turned out as we're talking about this. But at worst, as we talk about this, they're 14-3, and whatever they are, 17-4 in their last 21 AC, just something ridiculous. It's really, really rare to have success at a school, take a big dip. And it was a big dip. They went from ACC champs to missing the tournament 4 years in a row. And a couple of those, I don't even think they played in the NIT. Like, they were not good. To all of a sudden rise back up in even new heights. Maybe Brian Kelly at Notre Dame.
But he was winning national championships at a lower level when he was younger.
Yeah, but I mean, at Notre Dame, he had some struggles, and then it seems like he's righted the ship to where they're a top 12-ish, top 10-ish program every year.
Yeah, I wonder if this is. I should go back almost and kind of read. I wonder if this is more along the lines of. He talks about being so late in his coaching career, so I think it's more like your age as opposed to you had it took him 6 years to kind of get something turned around because a lot of people don't get that sort of time. These days. I don't know, like Marv Levy. Marv Levy was a really good coach, but I don't think, he really didn't hit it until that stretch of the Bills, really, right?
Yeah, but then. I don't know how. Yeah, he was, but I don't know how old how long he had been a coach before that success happened. So yeah, I'm sure there are examples. I'm sure there's people listening to this that have 6 right off the top of their head.
How don't you remember this?
Nothing is coming to my mind right now, but I guarantee you there are examples of that. Bobby Cox with the Braves.
What about Bobby?
Well, he didn't. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, he was at Florida State 12 years before the dynasty started. Now, he had success. He had been to some Orange Bowls. They always had winning records. He was putting guys in the pros. But he also lost to Florida 6 straight years, from 81 to 86. And yeah, so, and then it turned into a juggernaut. Now, Leonard's team isn't ever going to be that. It's not going to be a dynasty for the next 15 years. But and Bowden was, what would Bowden have been then? 50 in his late 50s, I guess, when that dynasty started, probably. Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty close example, but a little different just because of the success the football team eventually wound up having.
Marv Levy coaching the CFL, he won 2 Grey Cups.
There you go, Marv Levy.
But then in '78. Was his first foray into the NFL. He was born in 1925, so 78, 53, his first time in the NFL, and then he didn't make it into the playoffs until 1988.
Oh,
so 10 years after that. So he's in his early 60s, and then just never could get over the hump.
Well, one kick. He does have one of the best quotes of all time. the
must win.
He's like, no, it's credited to him anyway. He's like, no, this isn't a must win. World War II was a must win. It's like
I was alive for it.
That's a very good perspective. Yeah, he might have served.
I think he did. Yeah. Big Stevo 22. Real quick though, it's incredible, man. It really is. Leonard Hamilton, what he's done here.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game. And I guess a lot of it is the good and the bad of being at a place like Florida State where basketball isn't overly scrutinized, because he probably isn't here if he had this track record at even North Carolina State.
Yeah, that is funny. That's the exact school I was about to mention. If he had been at NC State for 6 years in a row and not made the tournament like he did to start his tenure, he'd have been gone. And there were extenuating circumstances. There were crazy ejections. There was Tony Douglas breaking his hand. There was kind of getting snubbed when they thought they'd gotten in. There were reasons that you thought the program was okay, but still, after 6 years, nothing. Yeah. And then 4 years, he had a great heights, and then 4 years, nothing. And for them to stick with him, and now they seem to be on pace for a full straight NCAA tournament. They're fighting for top tier of the ACC again. Got that recruiting class coming in. Man, it's a good time to be a Florida State basketball fan.
That's the thing there, man. It's that the heights that he reached in 2012 when the ACC championship. It's like, all right, they've arrived.
They were
and
a 3 seed.
Then it's like, oh no, they haven't arrived, and to lose it.
Yeah,
but then to get it back.
That's
late in the game. That's really, I can't think of anything.
It's like maybe it's I was a fighter pilot. I don't know if you know that. Well, not a fighter pilot. I was just a pilot. Oh. And sometimes you get caught in the wash and you lose it. You lose control, and it's really hard to get it back. You have to be really talented. That's the analogy I was going to use for this, but I don't know enough at all about as you know, air travel to know if that's really easy or hard to get control of a plane once it starts being out of control.
Big Stevo 22, what's up, fellas? Just wanted to say thank you guys for the thoughts and prayers for our son. He successfully underwent open heart surgery and is now home with us recovering nicely. Awesome, man.
That Fantastic. Is awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
And it's an infant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
6
weeks old, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
6 months? Maybe, I don't know.
What did he say? A heart surgery, right?
Open heart surgery.
Gosh.
By the way, is there another kind of heart surgery besides open heart surgery?
It's closed heart surgery? I don't know.
Basketball question. But that's awesome,
that's
Big
much
Steve,
more important than anything you're about to ask or anything we're about to say. But that's really, really nice.
What do you guys see as the ceiling for this team? I think I saw somewhere they were projected as a 4 seed.
Yeah,
that's probably
I mean, heck, it could be a 2. You look around the country, right? I mean, they're 9th. If you just do the math, that's a 2 or a 3 right now. But again, you got 15 games left, and it's just they're not quite good or talented enough to just coast through this. I mean, they have to play well to beat a lot of teams in the ACC. Yeah. You look around the ACC, like Boston College beat Virginia. Pitt beat Florida State. Pitt almost beat Louisville. Yeah. Clemson just beat Duke and North Carolina. So there's no teams that you can say, okay, we'll just show up and roll. Literally, Georgia Tech almost beat Duke. Georgia Tech did win at North Carolina. North Carolina, when they get Cole Anthony back, is probably capable of beating anyone. So there's no automatic W's in this conference. So, man, I feel like you got 15 games left. If you win 9 of them, 8 or 9 of them, that gets you to 13, 14, 15 wins in the ACC, and then I think you're a 2 or a 3.
Damn, really?
You got to because there's not a lot of great teams out there. But last year, I think weren't they a 3 last year? Or a 4? I think they were a 4 because they would have played Marquette, who was the 5, but Marquette lost to Ja. So they played the 12 seed. And then they had to play the 1 seed, which was Gonzaga. So they were the 4 last year.
Yeah,
but Isaac's year, they were a 3. And then they were also a 3 when they won the ACC tournament.
Also, do you guys have access to the team during off-season conditioning? Just wondering if you do, how different does it look? We do not. At least not right now. We'll see how it goes. Maybe. I'm trying. That's one of the things I want to work on. I meant to ask Ira that when we were playing our tennis match on the other day.
Yeah.
That was great.
Good times, right?
Hope that sticks around.
You like that? Think how good we're going to get, too. We should be. I wonder if there's a way we could join. There's got to be leagues in Tallahassee we can join.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
But there's 3 of us, so who's going to be the doubles team? We rotate?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some times you won't be able to be here because of
that's right.
dad duties.
Yeah,
and then,
that's a good point.
We can fill the gaps. Hammer Slice.
Stephanie asked me, by the way, like, well, so who won? Like, who? And I was like, well, we all tied at 5. To explain what we did, we played singles. We played one of us against the other 2, and then we'd rotate. So I would serve by myself against Aslan and Ira. We'd play a game. Whoever won, me singles, them doubles. Whoever won got a got the point, got the game. So, like, if I beat you guys as a single, that was 1 win for me, and y'all didn't have any. Anyway, we all tied at 5 because it's pretty hard to play against doubles when you're a singles player. But Stephanie asked, and I'm like, well, I said, Ira's a lot better than you would expect. And I said, not even that, because he plays racquetball all the time, so he's really good around the net. And, yeah, he's bigger, but he's so competitive, he won't just let things drop in front of him. He's going to go try to bust his ass to go get the ball because he doesn't want to lose. And then Aslan's obviously in the best shape of all of us, and he ran and got everything. And then I was kind of in the middle of those two. So together, I think we're all pretty much even.
I do like how I think
because I'm not as athletic as you, but I'm more athletic than Ira.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I think people don't get a true appreciation for like your wry and dry humor. But you get a little bit upset when you see Florida State kind of putter around playing football. 13-year-old Corey Clark kind of comes out. You're like, what the hell? What am I watching right now? What is going on here? And maybe some of the times the way we talk about the football team, we're just like, hey, man, they suck. Just deal with it, everybody. But now having seen you bowl for the Jeff Cameron charity thing for over Christmas, and having seen you play tennis, our guy here, everybody, he wants to win. Like it's programmed in his DNA.
It's not maniacal.
It's not maniacal, but like I can see you get frustrated at yourself. Like you don't make it uncomfortable for people around you.
Right.
But like I'm like, damn.
I get mad at me.
Yeah.
Like it's not like screw you. Let's go. You want to go?
Right.
Let's do this.
That's
like,
me.
Yeah, that's you. I don't do that. I just get mad at myself.
It's great. Maybe we won't tell you where we play tennis at, but just
absolutely not. We can't have that. We can't have people out there every day waiting to see us.
Go around town, see what we can find out. Hammer Slice, what up, Aslan and Coracle? Back when Norvell had the meeting introducing his assistants, did y'all get a chance to talk to or hear from Norvell at all, or did he just make a quick intro to his assistants? He spoke in the corner. I was locked in on Chris Thompson the entire time. Is it Chris Thompson?
No, No, he sat at our table while we ate.
Yeah.
We did. He knew which table to sit at. It was pretty obvious. He clocked it. He saw what was happening. He's like, okay, that's where we need to go.
I feel like I was high school again. Like we're at the cool table.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's right.
Yep. And so we talked to him for probably 15 or 20 minutes. He was interested. He asked us how long we've been doing it, and I did tell him that if he needs any Florida State trivia or facts,
he did.
Come to me because I can point him in the right direction. I can tell him what names he needs to know. But that's where I got the information, if the people that didn't hear about the camp, because I already told this on headlines, but it was not a joke, but it was almost like kind of the difference between Memphis and Florida State is I was basically asking, now you had camps at Memphis, right? And he goes, yeah. And I go, well, these are going to be different, right? You're going to get a bigger class you're going to get a higher quality kid. How much do you appreciate the fact that when you have the Mike Norvell camp now, you're going to get 4- and 5-star kids that come? And then he told the story about having the camp with 2,000 kids. It was the biggest one in the Southeast. He invited every coach in the country, I think, to attend, except for teams from his own conference,
right? Which
makes sense. Mm-hmm. And again, I brought it up, I think maybe that day that we did it, but he's like, yeah. And he said it, he wasn't bragging. He was just saying, look, it took a lot of hard work to organize something like that. He goes, the camp even had an app. And I'm like, what? It's such a little dumb detail that doesn't matter. It probably wasn't even a great app. But
it was buggy. It crashed
all the time. Had to update it. Yeah. But the fact that he even thought, like, man, this camp could use it, or whoever his ops person was, like, hey, what if we got an app? Since we have so many kids, instead of having to, call a number or log on, they can have an app on their phone. And he's like, yeah, that's a great idea, and he signed off on it. Just that attention to detail, little minute details, to me, just is it's another. It could be. It's hard not to hear something like that and be like, oh, the guy knows what he's doing. The guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I like the whole fact that he was just talking about, recruiting kids and letting them know the expectations, and you have to kind of walk a fine line to not, scare them off, because he talks about how difficult it's going to be. I think he kept saying that he's told the players already that are on the team, like, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. And it's just like, well, how do you not scare guys? I was like, hey, man, if I scare them off, then I scare them off. And I was just like, yes.
Well, and he also said if I scare them off, they're the kind of kids we didn't want anyway, which is true to an extent. Whatever you have to do to get offensive linemen on this campus, do it.
Right.
Tell them they get 8 pancake buffets a day, whatever it takes to get them on campus. Don't scare them off.
Also, I know it was mainly getting to know the new guys, but saw in some video shots that Odell was just sitting at the table not talking to many people. Did you get a chance to see how he interacted with the new staff or talk to him at all now that he's back to full-time D-line? I had my back to him the whole time when I was talking to Chris Thompson. But I did hear him talking. I could hear him about the, my free ear or whatever. Yeah, people were talking to Odell. But, yeah, it was one of those things where, hey, man, this is –
everybody knows Odell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we all know Odell. We had just talked to him for 6 weeks. He's also been here for 30 years. Like, I did not get a real sense of his, the way he is with the other assistant coaches. I'm sure it's affable, but I did not make a point to talk to Odell because we'd gotten him here for the previous month. Yeah. And the other guys, we had never met them. We wanted to get to know them a little bit.
Right. Which is why there wasn't video really of Adam Fuller and Kenny Dillingham. We'd spoken
because we had talked to them twice, right? Yeah. Both of them, or at least Dillingham twice.
Yeah. Lastly, Aslan, hashtag single fin Sundays in Bali. You won't regret it. I guess apparently he hollered at me the other show too. Apparently there's some sort of thing at a bar on Sundays out there. But the thing is, I'm not going to be there on a Sunday. We fly out of New York on a Sunday, and then I think I fly back from Bali on another Sunday or whatever. So.
Oh, that's a bummer. You only get to be in Bali for a week.
It's not bad to me sometimes. I think everything's going to work out too. So the crazy thing is, so we got the house. So it's me and my buddy Manhattan Mike. My best friend Hunter's out there with his wife. And then she's Serbian, and then it's going to be 9 of her Serbian friends. And we're all in this big house. And things weren't getting sorted out. And then I had to kind of step in there and be like, hey, man, like I want my own room. Like we're on different, the almighty U.S. dollar kind of gets you a lot further than everything else in this world. So I'm just like, whatever, man. Like I'm fine with this thing. But then they were like, well, they kind of want to pack in and make things a little cheaper. I'm like, I'm 37 years old. I don't want to go halfway across the world and share a room with somebody.
Yeah. But
everything got worked out. So
good, man. Good.
It'll be fun.
That's exciting.
L.A. Knoll 85. Wake up. How would you establish goals for this team moving forward? I'd like to think along the lines of 9 total wins next year, compete with Clemson in 2021, Atlantic Championship 2022. This is about where Jimbo had us. Clemson may be a huge obstacle, but the rest of the division is there for the taking. What are your thoughts? Thanks for the great content.
Yeah, I think the difference is when Jimbo took over, Clemson wasn't Clemson. I think Florida is about where it was, honestly. I mean, I guess when Jimbo took over, Florida had just gone 12-1 and lost in the SEC championship game to Alabama, but they were probably one of the best programs in the country. Now, that dipped precipitously his first year, but he didn't have to deal with this Clemson. Dabo, I think, had just gotten there maybe, or is his second year, third year. But anyway, so I don't know, man. Like I guess we'll do this, and we got 8 more months or 9 more months to do this and predict records and anything. I just don't know that you put a ceiling on it, put a cap on it, or put a number on it. Let's see what it looks like. I'll be much more. I'll be much more inclined to put a number on 2021 after I see what 2020 is, or put a number on the rest of the 2020 season after we see the first 3 weeks. There's a chance, not a great one. I'm not predicting it, but there's a chance it's a 10-win team. It could be 10-3.
This year?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Wow.
Things happen. I mean, we can look at it and it's ridiculous. This isn't how you should look at things necessarily. But what'd they finish this year? 6-7? Yeah. They lost to Arizona State by whatever. They lost to Boise by 4. They lost to Wake by 2. I mean, they're close. Now, again, they won some close games too. Yeah. But, they were close to 8 or 9 wins last year, and they were not well coached. We all know that. So, same in we also thought they were losing their best wide receiver and their best defensive line, but they're coming back, and you're getting a Travis Jay. So maybe it's the same amount of talent with a better coaching staff. All of a sudden, 6-7 can become 9-4 or 10-3. I just don't think we should put a ceiling on it. We don't know. The offensive line just has to get better and figure out a quarterback that can make some plays. If it's Blackman, if you crack that code with him, then maybe he turns into a legitimate third-team All-ACC type quarterback, and you go from there.
I think Louisville's got a little bit of a head start on us. I mean,
maybe, but that's not you don't look at that. I think Florida State has the more talented roster than Louisville, and now don't you think they're at least as well coached?
No.
maybe better. I mean, there is a chance, folks, that Norvell is the next Saban. There is a chance, a minuscule chance, but there is a chance that he's maybe not the next Saban, but he's the next Dabo. He's the next Bobby Bowden. He's a guy that he's the next Jimbo even. He's a guy that can turn this thing around and turn it around quickly. He might be a great college football coach. So don't limit it to just maybe 8 wins the next season. There's just a couple, right, that you know they can't win, right? They're not going to beat Clemson. Probably not going to beat Florida.
Yeah.
Other than that, all those other games are winnable.
Louisville's going to be tricky, I think.
Sure,
At Miami, I think so. I mean, I know everybody
No,
dogs
they're winnable,
Miami.
though. But they're winnable.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying they're probable, but they're winnable. You don't go into the season thinking, heavens to Betsy, you already started. I know it's a tougher schedule, but you've already started with 4 losses. Yeah. No, man. West Virginia's beatable. At Boise is beatable. Every other team besides Clemson, really, and probably Florida are beatable.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I think year 3, 2022, you want to win your division. I mean, and you think if you win your division, you're probably going to win the entire conference.
And I'm not predicting this, but there's a chance 2021 you win your division. I mean, Lawrence will be gone. You don't know what – I mean, you just have no idea what Chubba Purdy is. You have no idea what they're going to do to this offensive line. Yeah, we just have no idea how this coaching staff will work together and what kind of talent they're going to bring in. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're winning the division in 2021 or 2022.
Just go 1-0.
That's what, each week.
Just
try to go 1-0 each week.
I'm being serious. I mean, beat West Virginia. Beat West Virginia. Give that locker room for the first time in 4 years a win.
Some
in
hope.
Year 1.
Yeah.
Or in week 1, and then see what happens. Because, golly, imagine what would have happened if Florida State would have beat Virginia Tech or beat Boise this past year. Lunch_time. I think you just mentioned this pretty much, Corey, but I'll read his question anyways. What's up, guys? We lost 3 regular season games by a touchdown or less. That tells me if we can stay disciplined and have greatly improved O-line play, we realistically can win 8 or 9 games next year. Yeah. Also, I'm super stoked about basketball. I'm considering taking my son and myself to our first game ever. Any recommendations? One that we most likely will win.
Ooh, on the schedule, there's not.
Notre Dame's coming here. I don't know how Notre Dame's looking this year.
Notre Dame shoots the tar out of the ball, and teams like that give Florida State problems. Notre Dame was bad last year, and Florida State barely beat them here at home. So none of them are gimmies. I would say Notre Dame is like on a Saturday night, like next Saturday night at 8, which will probably be a fun atmosphere. I don't remember the last Saturday night game at the Civic Center. And then I think they play Miami at home
at noon.
They have 8th. They play Louisville at home. I didn't know they played Louisville twice this year, but they got Louisville at home too. That's not a game that's certainly a guaranteed win, but it should be a fun atmosphere.
Pitt's coming here on the 18th, 8 p.m.
And you're going to be looking for revenge. Oh, is it 8 p.m.? Is it what day of the week?
Whenever the 18th is.
It doesn't say?
No, on the schedule I'm looking at.
Oh.
Sorry.
Pitt would probably be – I would say Pitt is probably your most light – Pitt or Notre Dame.
18th is Tuesday after President's Day.
Tuesday at 8. Yeesh. So, yeah. The Notre Dame night game would probably be a cool atmosphere. Saturday night at 8, maybe you do that.
Yeah.
But if you want to see a really good high-level basketball game, I would feel like the Louisville game here would be a really good one. That's probably their best. In North Carolina.
Yeah.
They play them at home too, so that might be a good one. Not for a guaranteed win, but by that time I think Cole Anthony will be back.
We said pretty much every home game they're playing.
Yeah, well, we did. They don't have that many left.
We didn't help matter. I mean, if you want to see them win a game. I mean, the last regular season game is against Boston College.
Here?
Yeah. March 7th, 4:30 p.m.
Yep, send them off. It'll be senior day, so you'll get to say bye to and you get to say bye to Trent Forrest. Yeah. All of you listening now, try to be there. It might be spring break for the kids. Try to be there March 7th to say bye to Trent Forrest or thank you.
It's a Saturday, the day that we turn the clocks back or forward or whatever we do the clocks.
Yeah, you spring ahead.
So that we can actually see the sun at 6 p.m.
Yeah, those are the best. So go be there March 7th for senior day for Trent. That guy deserves it.
Tommy Hawk Chop. Wake up, Corey and Aslan. So, Corey, on Seminole Headlines, you said that Willie Taggart's coaching hires had hitched their wagon to a star. Both Jeff and Iris said there was no such saying. Stand your ground. Hitch one's wagon to a star. Phrase of Hitch. 1. Try to succeed by forming a relationship with someone who is already successful. Maybe Aslan will now show you the love that he shows Ira. Go Noles.
There it is. I knew it felt right when I was saying it, but then I started questioning myself, and I said it wrong, and then we started talking about hitching wagons to horses and how long it would take me and Ira to do that, to get across town if we had to actually hitch a wagon to a horse. Yeah, but that's great to know. Thank you for that. I very much appreciate that, and I'll be sure to let Ira know when I see him again that I was right, and I usually am right.
Prime time.
What would that show be without me, do you think? Do you think people would even listen?
No.
I don't either.
Prime time 92. Hey, guys, I recently went to Zaxby's for the first time in a while last week. It was delicious. And then that night, I see Aslan out on the town in a bathroom. All right, that's you then. That was him.
Uh-oh. The Zaxby's bathroom?
No. I was on a date with a young lady. I think his name was Sean. I texted myself his name so that I would know who he was, so I could give him a shout out on the show. Yeah, Steven. Yeah, Steven.
Not Sean.
Sorry.
Were you close? With an S.
Nice guy. Yeah, I'm walking out of the bathroom. He's like, hey, man, listen to the show every day. I'm like, cool. And I'm like, my hands are a little bit damp because I just washed my hands.
Or you just peed on him. That's the thing. You never know.
No, I washed them. And where did we get in society? And this is a man thing. This is us. This is guys. Why do we think we can go use a urinal and we can just walk out of the bathroom without washing our hands?
Oh, I do that all the time.
I know, but like we just touched it. I don't want you just touched it. Hands need to be washed.
Number one, cleanest part of the body. So hey, I'm touching my wrist right now. Would you not shake my hand after I touch my wrist?
You're absolutely crazy. Listen, I'm in the minority on this, but it struck me a few years ago.
No, I don't think you're in the minority. I think most people, the looks I get when I walk out of a bathroom, I'll do it unless there's somebody already at the sink. I'm like, I'm not waiting for this. It's the cleanest part of the body. Never gets. It's just down. It's down there and protected. Nothing. No germs are on it. It's clean. But yeah, I've never understood the people that walk right out of the bathroom and then see somebody they know or see us and want to shake our hand right after we got out of the bathroom because you don't know what I did.
Right.
I might have just peed on it. You don't know. So yeah. But lately, I've been much better because of all. It's flu season.
Absolutely.
You got to wash your hands.
Absolutely.
But I never touch the urinal. I always do this. I always touch it with my shirt.
He's holding his long sleeve shirt. He pulls it up over his palm.
And then I flush it by doing that.
Okay.
And then I zip up and bounce sometimes. Sorry.
Is Aslan like a genie that shows up when I eat Zaxby's? I don't know, Steven. Maybe.
Was he a nice guy?
Yeah.
Nice
I mean, it was really, it was a quick conversation. I want to go back out, stare at my lady.
Where were you?
Friend.
You allowed to say?
They're not a sponsor of the show.
Oh, okay. All right. But somewhere in town.
Yeah.
All right.
Where I think is the best cocktail bar in town.
Oh, yeah. Say no more. Say no more.
Fourth quarter. For my serious question now,
Leon Pub.
Jeff, Aslan, Corey, Ira, Gene on an offensive line practice sled pushing. How many yards could you guys go without stopping? Push. How many yards could we push it without stopping?
The four of us?
Yeah, 5 of us.
Who's
Jeff,
the other one?
Myself, you, Ira, and Gene.
Oh, and Gene. I would say 2.
Who are our tackles? Like, should we put Jeff?
Probably Ira and Jeff, right? They're the two biggest.
I think Ira needs to be the center. Or fulcrum.
Oh, yeah. So then I guess.
And then maybe Cameron, I think, on the interior.
No, I think Cameron's got to be. Oh, yeah, I guess so. Because you're wanting to get the middle push.
Yeah.
So I'll be a tackle. Okay. I'm still saying we're getting. My feet might just go out from under me, and I might just lose it right away. I would say maybe
4?
2 yards.
Okay.
2 yards, maybe. There's an easy way to figure that out. Next time, I'm sure we'll all be at practice when it's the first one that's open. Cameron will even come out for that, so we'll go give it a try.
Yeah. Also, Aslan, when you go to Bali, be prepared for tons of drunk Brits and Australians. Have a blast. Yeah, that's where Australians go because it's close to them. My buddy who's already out there, he's at the gym. He's talking about, man, he's like working out at the gym. And it's like Australian guys are just yelling at him from across. We're like, hey, mate, you need help with that, mate? What?
Oh, right.
Just
okay.
like, hey, man, I'm just lifting.
Right.
I'm lifting. I'm doing my thing over here. Let me do my thing over here. Rob Clifton, gentlemen, any chance with the offseason for football, you guys can get some interviews with the other head coaches from other FSU sports to discuss their programs. Thanks for what you both do. Eat more Zaxby's, go Noles.
Yes.
I suppose we could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. We will. Not only can we do that.
Let's get Neil Studd. I think he's the diving coach.
That. You're all about him.
He's got
Trey Jones would be a good one. Obviously, we get Lonnie back on again. Yeah. We should get Sue again. Again, get Sue, period. Yeah. We definitely, and they're all good. Bremen, they're number 1 in the country.
Again?
The indoor men track is ranked number 1 preseason indoor track.
Let's go.
Which they've never won a national championship in indoor. So yeah, he'd be really interesting because, they won the 3, And then they missed 2 other ones by literally like a point. They were really close to being 5-time national champs. And then they've taken a decade, essentially, where they haven't even been a factor. Yeah. So it'd be really interesting to talk to him again about getting the program back to this spot after so much success in the
Get him and Ham together.
Like, yeah, really.
What's it like just resurrecting things? I wonder if Carlos Becker's. I wonder if he does anything for the track team. Isn't he kind of like a poor man's Jalen? Like he jumps really far.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know if we have to call him a poor man's Jalen, but I guess
Jalen was
technically too. Jalen makes a ton of money. So
there you go. Exactly. All right, last one. Lake Jackson Birdman. Hi, Aslan and Corey. I'm wondering about the mechanism in which the new staff and players learn about FSU's traditions and customs. Is there some type of orientation session where coaches and players learn about things like the academic rivalry with Florida, the world-renowned Marching Chiefs, the link between Unconquered and the Seminole Tribe of Florida, and so on? Do they just rely on Odell to teach them, as Adam Fuller implied in his introductory press conference? Corey's offer to school Coach Norvell on FSU's history actually seems very worthwhile. A defining aspect of culture is that it is learned. Thoughts?
Very well stated. And yeah, when he said that, I'm like, why don't I? They should have the whole team in there and let me just go through like 20 minutes of, all right, now we're going to talk about Peter Warwick. Came in as a quarterback. He's a high school quarterback, but a 5-star super-duper freak. Redshirted. His roommate was a guy named Randy Moss. Tell him all that history. And then show him some highlights. Then move on to like Marvin Jones and Paul McGowan. But I don't know what mechanism is in place for that. I assume they get some of it. But I think all of it really depends on how much it matters to the coach. If the coach doesn't care about teaching that kind of stuff, if he doesn't care about his players knowing that kind of stuff, then they're not going to know it. If he does, they will. That's kind of how I see it.
Try to think if you really had a 20-minute presentation, you couldn't do.
I'd probably do an hour.
Fraction of.
I'd have to do an hour.
But he wouldn't give you an hour. Like if he was like, "I'll give you 30 minutes."
If he thinks it's worthwhile to learn the history of Florida State football,
a whole hour, man. You're not. Deion Sanders coming back to talk to the players. Or something
but it's not about me. It's not like,
know.
hey, our presentation is
but no one knows
Corey Clark.
They're not going to be like, oh, they're going to be it's the bald guy.
But it's going to be tonight, Tuesday, 7 p.m. auditorium, an hour on the history of Florida State football. And then it's not Corey Clark is giving you a motivational speech.
All right, so you have
although at the end, I'm going to throw in some of my own sauce to let them know what I expect, what I grew up with. But go through like top 10 most memorable games, some players that you definitely need to know.
But what's the memorable games? I think you need
the choke it doke. How many of the players do you think know about the choke it doke?
Okay.
You know what I mean? You need to know that. Yeah. In 87, that Bobby Bowden essentially cost his team a national title, and I'm not saying that negatively, by going for 2 instead of kicking the extra point. How many of those kids even know that back then they didn't have overtime? That you just ended in ties. So to explain the situation.
Okay. Oh, you're right,
it's 26-25. There's 40 seconds left. If he kicks the extra point, they tied the game. They had dominated the game, so they would have been ranked ahead of Miami, and if they won out like they did, they would have been the national champions. But instead, he wanted to win the game for his players, so he went for 2 and got batted down. Stuff like that.
I agree. Okay, I see the benefit of that. I always would feel a little bit weird when Odell would always bring up the unconquered part. Because I do realize that's part of the Seminole spirit, obviously. The tribe never, I guess, officially surrendered to the United States. So I guess are we actively fighting a war?
I don't know. I don't know if they're still, if Seminole Indians are still at war with the United States or not. I don't think so.
When I go to the casino. So, I do wonder if there's a kind of maybe mixed messaging when you're talking to these players about, there's a statue out there. This is the credo of this entire tribe that's sustained for thousands of years. And who cares if we lost to Louisville last week? It's fine. I don't know how much. I feel like that ethos of like this is our spirit.
It's probably not a great
it's a
correlation between a tribe from the 1800s and a football team from the 2000s. But it is cool that they did never surrender.
Oh, absolutely,
that is cool. So, and Osceola was a white guy, so you don't have to feel too bad about dressing up white guys as Seminole Chiefs because he was his dad was British military.
Half white,
sorry. But I don't think his mom was even a Seminole Indian. I think his mom was another tribe.
Polly Coppinger, I think was her name.
Look at you.
Well, no, because somebody...
Sounds like you should teach the class.
Well, no, because there's somebody who posts on the...
Oh, that's right. That's right.
His handle is Polly Coppinger's son. I'm like, what the hell?
Okay.
I'm like, and then I'm like, Osceola, gotcha.
All right,
gotcha.
okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make it a footnote, but I do. Maybe there's something to be said about, listen, there's a statue out there. the unconquered
Well, you do
spirit,
want them to pay honor. If you're going to wear something, and I know some people, probably not the people listening to this show, but there are other people in this country that think it is offensive that they're named after a tribe, an Indian tribe, and that they do the headdress stuff, although nobody really does that anymore in the stands, but there is Osceola and all that. But it is know the history. Pay homage to the tribe. If you're going to be called a Seminole, know what a Seminole is. I'm down with that. I'm down with a 30, 45-minute lesson on that.
Okay. All right, man. That's a wrap for us this week. We'll be back next week. I'm trying to get up some interviews, but it's, I DM people. They DM me back. I don't see the DM. We got weird schedules, but we'll try to get some interviews with former players, things of that nature to keep things kind of fun and interesting. But subscribe to the show, rate it, review it, 5 stars, and when the next show drops, which will probably be Monday, it'll be there waiting for you. He's Corey Maslow. Thanks for listening to Wake Up War Champ presented by Zaxby's.